Hi, today I'm going to be reading chapter 26 from John Pentland's book, Exchanges Within. Thank you for joining me. 26. There is no sensation except in joining the head and the heart. Question. I want to ask, what does sensation mean? It's difficult. We're given exercises, ideas, direction. In a way, sensation is the bottom line. It seems so far away from some of these great ideas, but the grand structure implied in the books about the work and the vain way I aspire seem to be distant from sensation. How to find a practical relationship to sensation and the ideas on a scale bigger than life? I feel attracted to that way of looking at things. It's wonderful, amazing, to think there might be correctly functioning higher centers in me. But how to find a practical relation between sensation and the ideas relative to the scale of the ideas. Lord Pentland. The point is, the head, which takes in ideas, and the feeling, which takes in scale, can never meet. Sensation is the relating element. How to feel what you think, or to think what you feel, is through sensation. We practice sensation in a way unrelated, for the head and feeling to meet is only in the body. My head feels all over my body. With the sensation of the body, the head and feeling can come together, and that is the basis for so-called inner life. How to call feeling back? How to call the head back to meet with the feeling is only through sensation, where feeling and thought can come together. Questioner. It is difficult to sort out. I'm trying to understand before thinking, before categorizing things. What is the difference between emotion and impulse? Also, the thought process located in the head is different. What seems to be asked for now is something more difficult to know. Lord Pentland. How can you feel the scale of what you say? How to connect what you say with the importance, with the scale of it? Only through sensation. It's very difficult. It is only possible by letting go of the thought. You don't have a way to locate the work of sensation as something that can reconcile thoughts and feelings. You don't have a way to locate the work of sensation as something that can reconcile thoughts and feelings. Questioner. I want to believe what you're saying. Lord Pentland. So it will never be built, the bridge. Sensation is an extraordinary contrivance. Questioner. It really works? Lord Pentland. Yes. Your head and heart are separate anatomically. There is no circulation connecting them. That is what sensation can do. Like two different bodies, sensation relates these two, even from the point of view of physical equipment. Sometimes this difference can cause illness, and many exercises have the virtue of relaxing this. It is not a work ever done, ever finished. It is not a work ever done, ever finished. Sensation may come through the words spoken, but there is no sensation except in joining the head and heart. Excuse me, I'm boring you now, but you see what I'm saying. In italics, the sensation we can reach now is not enough. Ellipsis. Question. Assuming the head and heart are both sick, both going crazy, then when sensation appears, what is the value of bringing them together? Lord Pentland. That's like saying, what's the value of bringing fire and pan and a raw potato together when separately they are useless? In fact, their only real usefulness is in their being related. Thought goes out and in this annoying way returns, and that's how it goes. Feeling is apt to go everywhere except back on itself. So everything is related. So the body to be healthy does all these things to produce illness. To relate them means they come simultaneously together. To relate the attention of the head to the attention in the body is to take the wish in the head related to the resistance of the body. The feeling of the importance of my body as a sacred place of work begins to appear. My body, including the head. We are not trying without the head. Questioner. Sensation comes when I try to avoid unpleasant emotions. With a group of friends talking about movies, my toes felt cold, but sensation of the rest of the body had disappeared, and I did not hear anything until there came the awareness of a woman talking about her illness. Then I was just aware of breathing, listening, comprehension. I didn't try to do anything. It was all done for me. Lord Pentland, I think there are a number of things that are interesting in what you are saying. First, the way you felt that it has all been done for you. There are different levels of sensation. The sensation we can reach now is not enough. So we have to work towards having sensation of all parts at one time. To have relationship between the head and heart and body, we have to have that registering all at the same time, not successively. For that, it needs a better level, a better quality of sensation, the wish of sensation, not through doing it, but through the work of awareness. The wish also comes about with this kind of sensation of the whole body. We talk endlessly about it, but it is a physical body. But go out and try it. Sensation is not provided when we sit. Do physical things, scrub floors and so forth. It is very interesting if done with attention. That means remembering I'm doing it plainly, just to get things clean. Practice it. Question. I can't face a feeling until I've classified it. I suppose I think I'll recognize it even though I don't know it's there. I'm not sure I'm seeing the feeling at all. Lord Pentland, that's very good to start. One needs a completely different approach. One needs a different relationship to the body where these questions can be answered. You see there how the case for classification feels through awareness. The case for classification is presented according to whether or not it helps awareness. A devil says, instead of facing this inability to feelings, I'll classify them. It's this distinct way of approach that leads to abstraction. It is very close to the point to classify so that I'll be aware. It is very close to the point to classify so that I'll be aware. This indirect approach is very striking in some of Ouspensky's early books. In italics, becoming aware of the passive, I can become aware of the wish, the active. Ellipsis. Question. As I was sitting here waiting for you to come out, I asked myself what I was doing here. I was wanting something, but I don't know what. I want to ask you something, but I don't know what. Wish is a small part of my life. I don't seem to find it often. When I do, it's very big, but seldom. I don't know where it is or what it is. Lord Pentland, how are you going to find out? Can I tell you what it is or where it is? Questioner, I don't know. Lord Pentland, would you believe it if I told you? Questioner, if I experienced it, maybe. Lord Pentland, if I say, for instance, you don't exist, do you believe that? Questioner, no. Lord Pentland, how did that take place? Did you observe that electrical movement in your brain? What exists? Questioner, to feel my body? Lord Pentland, that's what you wish to understand. That's your wish. So I did find it for you. Do you understand? Questioner, yes. Lord Pentland, some valuable advice we give is to study wish in relation to attention and the three centers. And what seems to me also very important is to study the resistance, also in relation to the three centers. To study what it means to be aware, what study is, and what resistance is where we get stuck. And in relation to studying what's aware in me, how in a passive movement very quickly when looking at something I get stuck in it. And in relation to studying what's aware in me, how in a passive movement very quickly when looking at something I get stuck in it. They are parallel. Otherwise I will have peak experiences, big highs, but they will be unbalanced. So study the wish to come in touch with this big movement in myself and study the resistance. There is a movement in me towards evolution and towards unity and differentiation, and also the side that doesn't want to come in touch with this movement, with this natural, universal order. Gurdjieff called it the struggle between yes and no. We must know the ideas. Later we have to let go of them. But unless I can study the psychological work and the cosmic spiritual work, work gets subjective. All right, it's your work. It's not for me to tell you what to do. All the same, I will tell you what to do. You need to get more stuck. The wish to be free isn't strong enough. That's why you don't feel it. Do you understand? The non-existence isn't strong enough for wish to exist. I don't need to tell stories about it. You need to study and see your fear of life and not accept the limits that you seem to feel are put to what you can relate to. It can only lead to getting stuck. But becoming aware of that, the need to escape is strengthened. I can't do anything but become more aware, so I need to be less afraid. I don't need to put barriers between these animals in me so they can relate. So becoming aware of the passive, I can become aware of the wish, the active. Then you become aware of both at the same time. That's the idea. The struggle between yes and no, a struggle for awareness. It has to be clearer than the head can do it, only in quiet conditions, otherwise the head pushes. So for now, it's possible only in quiet conditions. Little by little, let life in until the moment you get caught, and then I come back. For example, you were out there listening to me, then came back to yourself. I always have the opportunity to come back from passive to active, if we see it, if we're aware. In italics, self-respect comes from the struggle between yes and no, ellipsis. Question. I have a question about respect. I wonder if you could clarify it. I wish to understand respect in terms of the work and respect in my usual worldly ideas and associations with that. Lord Pentland. Yes, I think that's a fair question, but why do you want to know that? Do you lack respect for yourself? Do you abuse yourself? Questioner. No. Lord Pentland. Then why? Questioner. It's not myself. Someone made a remark to me about wanting my respect. I didn't know how to respond to that. Lord Pentland. Why respond to that? Is it on a biological level or what? What does it mean? Do you want them to like you or what? Questioner. My response was, why do you want my respect? Lord Pentland. That's indirect. Why respond? Everyone calls the same thing respect. Questioner. I'm confused. Lord Pentland. Certainly. That's not the point. We think respect is very important. But self-respect is coming to us only when I struggle between yes and no. Since I don't make it, I deserve it. Since I don't make it, I deserve it. I deserve no respect. So when asked for respect, I respond only on a physical level. Maybe I want to borrow money or something from someone, so of course you respect them more. I remember once very long ago, I feel it is my duty at my age to tell anecdotes. 53 years ago, I was with a man named R.B. Bennett of the Conservative Party. He later became Prime Minister in Calgary. It was a Sunday morning and he was wearing a black coat and a top hat. It was the time of the Calgary Stampede. As we walked across the railroad yard, a stoker looked out and said, "Hi, R.B.," and Mr. Bennett lifted his hat to give him to get a vote. He gave him his respect. It's all right, but it's on that level. Self-respect comes from the struggle between yes and no, and results come indirectly from being in touch with big forces intermittently or only for moments. Question. I keep looking for this quiet spot within me, and when I find this spot, there seems to be a force that takes over that insists on quiet. Then a vibration or sensation takes place. It doesn't seem correct. That approach to quietness doesn't seem to be the way. Lord Pentland. So in the very moment when the brain says, that's not the way, it says at the moment, I am sensitive enough to know the way. At the same time, if someone said there is no way, it would say, yes, there is a way. You see? Questioner. But at that moment? Lord Pentland. Electricity. It's very fast. We can't be sure if it's that moment or the one after. You realize that. They are complicated currents for this electricity that goes along. So until next time, or Friday morning for many of you, thank you. And that completes chapter 26 of Exchanges Within. And maybe I'll talk about my own experience later, but I don't think it really matters if I share it, although I can relate to that electricity feeling, as I think a lot of people can. Also, you may think you know, and then you experience it. You know, it can be on different levels, and when it's quite intense, when the awareness is quite intense on that electricity, it can be quite an upset in a good way. possibly, or possibly a negative way, if not, if this practice isn't continued and the struggle between yes and no isn't continued. I think for me, I experienced what they're calling sensation, and it was so sensational and so incredible that I felt I didn't have self-respect, and I had to ask about it. I had to ask others, I had to ask others that I respected, what does this mean when I feel this? Of course, one part of me thinks I'm special and I'm the only one in the universe that's ever felt this way. And but also another part of me just wants to know, is this normal? What does this mean? And it's interesting that we use the word sensation as if it's something, anytime we come in contact with something of the five senses, it's sensational. But I think even linguistically, that's not what the word implies. When we say something is sensational, it's not sensationalism. It's a word that's been overused and overhyped to the point where you really stop trying to guess what it referred to in the first place. But that chapter explains it really well, the meeting of the head and the heart. And I couldn't explain it any better than that. But I think that for me, when I felt that sensation, I'll just speak on that. I was practicing quite regularly and sitting in quiet for quite a long time. And I still feel that it was due to that. That is why I experienced it. But somehow that isn't motivating me to continue the practice. You would think, at least I do, that I would continue the practice so that I could feel that and explore it more and become more familiar with it. But my habit lately has been to not sit at all. Days, weeks will go by and I don't sit. And so I think that part in the chapter about you need to feel a loss, you need to feel what it's like to be missing it so that you can feel the wish to have it, because you need that before you pursue it. And that's a scary thought. I want to be comfortable. I want to just be cozy and do my thing, sit on the couch and play video games. But all the while, if I continue that, it's very lonely. And I know that I'm missing out on something that could be there, that could be happening if I put in the work. So it's good that I had the experience, because I do know somewhat what I'm missing. But the ego also wants to say, well, you had the experience. Check. You know what that's about. But my memory still, I know this much, my memory doesn't serve me as well as experiencing it in the present. I know that it was so beyond words, and it was the only word to use, unfortunately, is so electrifying that memory doesn't really serve it, because sensation is beyond what an image. You can't play a movie or relive it like a memory. You can somewhat, but it's a faded copy. And that's all I have to say about that. So thank you. I'll see you guys next time. Drop a comment in the chat. I don't do this very often. I'm just appreciative that anyone's here watching. Thank you for the subscribers. Gosh, I can't believe I'm at 64. Thank you for anyone who's just along for the ride for whatever reason. So, see you next time.